Alright everyone, I was going to do a video. This is kind of a video I've been wanting to do for a while. And it's Ellen DeGeneres is Neoliberalism Personified. And I think over the last year we've kind of seen a lot of what, all these scandals coming out about her and all her, insidiously bad things and bad takes on things she's had. And like during the virus crisis, she was criticized for a lot of the stuff, jokes she was having, which is kind of silly, but it did sound very entitled and privileged, a lot of the stuff she was saying, compared to what was going on in the rest of the country. Her in her mansion, calling it a prison. It was a prison though. The lockdowns were a prison. Literally, fined thousands of dollars if you were, caught hanging out with people and stuff. It's just ridiculous. But so she was partially right in a way about lockdowns. And by the way, I'm not going to say too much about lockdowns, but you can look on this video because I've exhausted and exacerbated my whole thing about the crisis we've had over maybe 100 videos over the past year or something like that. It's kind of made my channel I've done so many videos about it. It's just it's at this point, doing any more videos about that, I feel obligated to talk about it anyway. So there was that stuff that came out about her employees and all this stuff and all these clips that over the years where she's kind of condescending and kind of patronizing towards people. And it was it was years ago. This boss, or was he my boss at the time, was playing some clip of him or her and Michelle Obama, talking, and I just I got to thinking that neoliberalism and the modern kind of Democrats, this Ellen DeGeneres is just a living manifestation of this whole phenomenon. So it's like this sort of fake diversity, wokeness. Very, if you watch those things, it's very white. Ellen DeGeneres, the show, you watch it, it was very white, but very like supposedly diverse, but you really, at the end of the day, it's pretty damn white, and you watch it and you're just like, what the hell is this shit? It's just inane stuff. And I hate all those people, like fucking Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah. I saw some decent stuff lately, but of course some of his jokes are okay. Doesn't seem to have, and I've only watched a couple of things more lately, and he doesn't have the same kind of disdain for ordinary people that those people seem to have. And what I mean is, by ordinary people, I mean Trump supporters and people like that. That's the truth. And I haven't watched enough, so I don't know much about him. Trump supporters means white working class. Let's just face it. That's what they say. White working class equals Trump supporters. That's what they're talking about. When they say Trump supporters and they say Republicans, that's what they're talking about. And it's just, it's this disdain for the common, ordinary person who is white. Doesn't matter though, because at the end of the day, they only have their tokenism and their fucking, little thing that they do, where, it's just been the same. It's a game to them. They don't care. They don't really care about your average, black person either all that much. Maybe sometimes, somewhat a little bit more. But a lot of times they do it out of guilt because they have their fucking mansion and their private jet and all this shit. So Ellen DeGeneres is this kind of woke corporatism / neoliberalism personified, because it's this hypocrisy and this facade of this tolerance and niceness, but you can see the cracks. You can just get this weird sense that it's all bullshit under the surface. You could see the cracks in that. Even watching that show from back in the day, It's like this fake. It's like the smiley face in the fucking 70s, like the, you know, this. There's just this. You get this sense. It's just this gut intuition feeling, and you know, really, if for me that really personified neoliberalism as far as Ellen DeGeneres was that whole her with George W. Bush at the baseball game. Okay, you're cavorting with this war criminal who caused the deaths of helped cause the deaths of possibly 1 million people in Iraq or more. We don't know. And it's like, oh well, it's because I have tolerance for different points of view. Different points of view. Okay, well, I guess you really needed that oil in your whatever to run your mansion. You're fucking it's just it's one of those things that. And I just hate that stuff. And that people wonder why. I know why when I watch, like, I was just looking at the text here. The people that, when I watch these shows, I've always had like a disdain for, the normie kind of thing a lot of the time. Like, I'll go to someone's house and they're watching some of these talk shows. I'm like, oh God, let's watch something more interesting, It sounds like an elitist, kind of snobby thing to do, but like, I think I understand why now, because like I could see the fakeness, the charade that these people are doing now. These shows, like, oh yeah, that was a funny joke, rather watch Freddy Got Fingered, honestly, Tom Green from '99 or 2000 or whatever, than watch anything. Well, I'd rather watch the Tom Green show than fucking watch like any of these stupid ass fucking late night show hosts and all their bullshit. It's just dumb, Or even Joe Rogan, who I have problems with Joe Rogan, but I think he's like the Larry King of modern time. I don't give a fuck. All these people trying to cancel him. He's like Trump in 2016. He can't be brought down. Joe Rogan will not be brought down unless he does something really bad, but he's open about all the shit he does or believes and says, so he'll never be brought down, thank God. So yeah, you watch these people like Ellen DeGeneres, and you can just get this sense, and that's just like what neoliberalism really is. It's this authoritarian but with a smiling face. Fascism was a corporate face. Like George Carlin said, fascism would come, under the guise of McDonald's and Nike, and now you would say Amazon and, all these things. And that's what really, really it boils down to. Is it better than Trumpism or, alt-right? Yeah. It's hard to judge two things that are equally shitty or maybe even more in some ways. Neoliberalism is the reason why they would change Doctor Strange's villain to be a Celtic, or no, not villain, the one that gives the mentor of Doctor Strange to be a Celtic woman instead of Asian person, because it's like, or Tibetan monk, which was the original comic, because we can't offend the Chinese because they have control over Tibet and they'll censor our movie, we won't make as much money. That's neoliberalism right there. That's personified too. Just like turning a blind eye to real authoritarianism around the world to make a quick buck, but under the guise of tolerance or whatever. It's like, it's just so disgusting, and the hypocrisy. That's why Ellen DeGeneres, when people talk about her, it's like, yeah, it's neoliberalism personified. All the aspects are there. Like this, you're pretending that you're this tolerant person, but there's corporatism in the mix, and turning a blind eye to the actual goings on of the regular people. Elitist liberalism, and when like over the last year, I didn't really understand what a lot of these things were, because I was still, and I still am to a great extent, left wing, but I didn't understand the Republican side, really. At the end of the day, I didn't really understand a lot of that until this last year, And that happened because of the Young Turks talking about Trump supporters dying from the virus. Like, ha ha ha, oh, he was against masks, but then he died. It's like, when I saw that, and they actually celebrating people's deaths, that was when I knew that, well, for one, Young Turks had jumped a shark, but they, a lot of people say that here, they did years ago. I just was turning a blind eye to that myself. But I saw why Republicans hate Democrats so much, and the coastal elites, all this stuff. It's because these people have their little virtue signal. They have those little crumbs that they give you. They want to give the masses, but they'll stab you in the back. They'll give you the crumbs, and then they'll stab you in the back. That's really what the Democrats and the neoliberals are about nowadays, and that's why I hate it so much, and that's why I really changed over the course of the last year and a half, or 2 years, well, 2 years, ostensibly, because it started with the Bernie thing, when, the Buttigieg controversy with him having interest in some kind of, I don't know if it was a voting app or something, that there was something, I don't know if it was New Hampshire, or Vermont, or New Hampshire, I can't remember exactly where the controversy was. And then Elizabeth Warren's comments about Bernie being sexist and all this stuff. I'm like, mind you, I don't support Bernie Sanders anymore. I think he's more weak than corrupt, though. I think that's probably what it is. But, Ralph Nader lived in an apartment his entire political career. And he never got married. He never had a lot of possessions, even though he did have some weird stock, he had stock in Amazon or something that was exposed and stuff. He was a little bit of a hypocrite. Not, but Bernie has 3 or 4 homes or whatever. It's like, well, Ralph Nader walked the walk for the most part. He might have been shitty to his employees. There's bad things about Nader, but overall he was really what Bernie Sanders should have been, independent, Green Party or whatever. But yeah, anyways, that's on another subject entirely, and how I was shamed by people for voting for Nader back in 2000. My God, you let Bush win! Oh my God! There's no real proof. Now there's less proof of that as people looked over the numbers. But it's just like, fuck off, But yeah, Ellen DeGeneres is neoliberalism personified. That smiling, liberal, tolerant face with the knife to stab you in the back, behind her back, ready to stab you in the back. It's this fake, this display of like, it makes me sick. At least like on Oprah, when you watch her, that she did come up from obscurity and from a lot of adversity. Like if you read about her life, she was actually, and maybe I don't like Oprah now. She's turned into a neoliberal in many ways, but you could still say, yeah, well, Oprah's a little better. Donahue he's a liberal icon. He went against Bush. I think he talked shit about Obama. I mean, that guy was way more consistent. And these talk shows are all sleazy. Watch all the episodes. Gigi Allen's on one of them, and they're exploiting his whole thing. There's all sorts of stuff going on with all that. But overall, if I could I'll take Donahue and even Oprah over Ellen DeGeneres any day, it's like, but yeah, I'm trying to think of more examples why I think, it's just this weird, it's this gut feeling when you watch her show, Back in the 90s, Ellen was actually a lot better, in my opinion. Like, her whole thing, it was cutting edge because, like, to some extent, because at the time, like, people were, like, totally against LGBT Q plus or whatever rights and all that stuff. They were totally like, it was cutting edge. It was actually, but it's exactly what happens is the establishment co-opts all this stuff. Basically, neoliberalism is co-opted diversity, which is fake, and pushing more corporate and anti-worker, anti-regular people agendas, around the world. Your coffee at Starbucks might have been, maybe it is fair trade, a little bit better. They can pay 10 more cents an hour in the fucking, jungles to mine the coffee, or get the coffee beans, of course. And, but it's just this, you know, it's all sloganeering. It's all facade. It's all fake. It's all bullshit, and nothing personifies that. And even before this whole, I heard rumors about Ellen, but even before, I was like, something's not right about this whole setup with this person. It was like, ugh, it always rubbed me the wrong way. And then the Bush thing came out, and it's like, God. I was just watching actually a documentary about Ellen DeGeneres, about her fall from glory and stuff. But yeah, I don't like a lot of those shows, and people wonder why, but it's like this innate sense that there's something not quite adding up here, this incongruity, it's just like you watch any, it's something's not right, something's not right, it's just, and the smiling faces, and he's white, it's very white too. It's like this fucking, like when people talk about white people, like white people shit and like the annoying things, like you watch Ellen, it's like kind of like you get that feeling, like, I mean, I don't care, I mean, it sounds anti-white for me to say this, but it's just like, you probably know what I mean. It's just like, ugh, it's like, that's just, this, ew, it's, and yeah, that's the whole thing. But yeah, over the last year, I've really turned around in my perception of Republicans and the right wing, because I kind of get it now, why they see these Democrats and especially the neoliberals nowadays, even though, there's plenty of people on the left that are against neoliberals as well, which is a good thing and should increase. But I could see why, they talk about the hypocrisy, the gall of these, fucking wine-sniffing, wine-sipping fucking Democrat politicians. Newsom, at the French Laundry. I mean, that was the peak moment for hypocrisy to me of the left. Not really the left, but we gotta, the typical like actual leftist things, like, we gotta vote for them. We gotta vote for them. They're better than the Republicans. I've been hearing that all my life. When's the change gonna happen? Some of these people have gotten worse. Obama droned, more people than, probably killed more people around the world than Clinton did, with drone bombings and stuff. A lot of times they're getting worse. Biden's basically a Republican now. You have fucking Liz Cheney probably going to leave the party of Republicans and go to Democrats. They've gotten worse. So when am I supposed to not vote for the lesser of two evils? When? Can I ask you that question? When am I supposed to not do that? 20 years from now? 30 years from now I'm supposed to vote third party? 100 years from now? Fuck you. If anybody ever gives me any shit, I don't care who they are. This is a challenge. If anybody ever gives me shit in person about voting third party again, I will knock their fucking face in. I will fucking knock their face in violently with this. If anybody gives, all right, there's a chance I'll leave the room and not talk to them for months or years on end. Like certain people in my family that I don't talk to because they got offended that I said Joe Biden was a dementia patient. Like, you're insulting me, my old age. Ah! Fuck you. Knock you out. Matt's so passive and so non-violent. He's so nice. He attracts animals and children. Oh my God. Fuck you. Why not have the edge? Be edgy. Why not be a little violent sometimes? I'm just sick of being the passive little fucking cuck boy that I've been all my life. So, anyways, I'm getting a little personal and a little angry here. But no, I will punch someone if they give me shit about being third party. Maybe I'll just kick him in the face. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave the room. Maybe I'll fart on him. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I don't know what I'll do, but I will be pissed. I'm not gonna stand for that. I could just be like Steven Seagal in that one interview where he was, where there's sexual allegations, and he took his piece off. I was just watching. I don't know why I mentioned Steven Seagal. This video is all over the place. It's just bizarre, but I don't care. Ellen DeGeneres could fucking go fuck herself. I hope she's like caught in some kind of scandal and goes to fucking prison. That fucking bitch is. just it's a rot of our modern society and culture, basically, as far as, not because of her sexual orientation, by the way, like the right wingers used to say, but just the hypocrisy of the degeneracy of neoliberalism and corporatism and the smiling face that's going to stab you in the back. That's about all.